Hey, good evening, everybody. I'm glad y'all could make it this evening. If you're not here already, hope you come in later. And if not, hope you watch the show afterwards. But we have made it back from Salt Fork, and I hope everybody is good and well. I'm gonna tell you what, y'all miss some good food and everything else. Hello, Curtis. How you doing, bud? So we're gonna try to get started. I know this may be a bad time to do a show, but that's all right. It's the only time I've got. It's been a while, and I'll have to start back to work again Monday. So, y'all, this is about the best time I could do it. So I hope everybody enjoys. All right. Well, while we're waiting on one more guy. I'm gonna go ahead and bring in our other guest real quick, and we're gonna start talking about what happened up there at Salt Fork. So, hang on just a minute. How's it going on, Richard?
Good man. Whoa.
You done run the quiet chain cane out, did you?
Yeah. Talking about South Fork.
Yep, talking about Salt Fork. Yeah, yeah. We won't hardly talk much about that this evening because that's been rectified. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is. So how did you? I know you were scared of flying over there and flying back. How did that turn out for you? Was that okay?
The flight over was good, other than having to wait for 3 hours at the airport. the
Yeah,
flight back, the flight back was a totally different story. We got a late start. I got to the airport in plenty of time. The line at TSA was horrible, and they ended up confiscating stuff that I brought with me the first time. I don't know why I can't take it back with me the second time. So but anyways, then I get to the plane and I wait and we get boarded and then it's an hour wait because they can't get the engines to start. So they had to bring out a big piece of equipment to start one engine and then move it around to the other side of the plane and start the other engine. And yeah, it was, and then it was
not
a
the way
bumpy
you want
ride.
to take
It was
off.
no. Of course, I knew flying in back into Florida into Fort Myers, we had a 90% chance of rain because I was watching the weather before I boarded. So as we entered Florida, they went over the Gulf of America, and you could see the thunderstorms below us, and we
Yeah,
knew So it was a bumpy ride.
I'll tell you what. The one that you were showing on the way up, that was beautiful, beautiful.
Oh, the flight up was amazing. I mean, it was smooth the whole way. It was really nice. Um, but the flight back definitely reminded me why I don't like flying.
All right, I'm gonna do this real quick. Let me paste this on. Bud and Angie, if you're there with her, if you want to come on the show, Bud, there's the link. We would love to talk to you about how you enjoyed. And I believe I've heard that they were up there this weekend also.
Oh, nice.
I, oh, if I could, I would too. Yes, sir. All right, well, hang on a second. Let's get this other guy in here, Mr. Old Bear. There we go. I think
Wait a minute. Hold on.
I see two old bears.
But this
Let me
thing is
see.
lagging so bad.
Let me see here. There we go. I don't know why I got two old bears in here.
I don't know.
Huh. All right. Well, we'll work around it. Ain't no big deal. All right. So, guys, how did you think the camp out turned out for y'all this past weekend? Not this past one today, but last weekend. All right, don't everybody talk at once. All right, I'll
I
start
had a
off.
good time.
Oh,
Yeah,
I did too.
it was a lot of fun. It was a good time. I had it was
Yep.
very relaxing.
What did you think about the food?
I got fed. There's no doubt.
You wasn't hungry, was you?
No, no, not
Very
at
good.
all. Just cold.
So,
I think he ruined his diet.
yeah.
Come back and I went like on a couple days fast because I was taking in more than I wanted to take in, so I fasted for quite some time and I'm back on track.
Well, you know how it is when you're in Rome.
Yeah.
Hey, you eat like Romans. That's how they say it. And in Rome, you live like Rome. But anyways, so Richard, what do you think about the landscape? And because we done some hikes at a little bit, we got to. What do you think about all the landscape there? Was it is it fitting for a Bigfoot, or what do you think?
Well, the first thing is evidently Ohio knows nothing about downhill. Um, there's no lie that no matter where you go, it's uphill. No matter where you go.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
but as far as terrain goes, it was absolutely gorgeous. I mean, it was definitely a great place. If something wanted to be hidden and not be seen, it could easily do it. Um, there was everything you needed. There was food sources, there was water sources. Like I said, coverage. Stuff. It was a beautiful area.
Hmm. What do you think about it, Bear, this weekend or this past weekend?
Well, I had a good time. Um, we had a really good time camping out with everybody, and meeting Richard was a blast. We had a good time with him. Had multiple good conversations with him about Bigfoot. Uh, we had a lot of friends there that, and we went out and did fun.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to try to get to. Uh, Richard, your first night when you got there, did you hear anything or see anything?
Yeah, when I can't remember did I set up the equipment the first night or not? Because if I didn't set up the equipment the first night, I caught the exact same thing the second night. But I remember the first night I got there and I was laying down because we had a late start. You know, I mean, we didn't get to the campground until after 5, and then we were rushed because we had to set up the tent and set up everything and get everything ready to go, and then of course eat and stuff like that. So by the time I went to bed, I'd been up for 18 hours straight. So I remember laying in the cot and I heard a fantastic vocal. I mean, it was, I could tell it was far away, like it was over the next ridge. But it was a really, really good vocal. And I recognized it because I have previous recordings, even here in Florida, of the exact same sound, exact same yell. So I was really excited. I was laying there. I was like, okay, that's cool. That's a good start. Um, and then I don't know. It's hard to determine time when you're in the dark laying in a tent, but I want to say it probably half an hour later, there was a second vocal, even further away and more to my left from where I was at, and it was not the same vocal. It was the same length and the same, it was just lighter. Like the only way I can explain it is if the first one was a male and the second one was a female. I'm not saying that's what it was at all. It was just a different pitch that sounded more higher pitch than the other one was a more lower pitch. Um, so I was pretty excited, and I'm still going through audio now because I'm getting some good stuff on my audio that I left out. So
Yeah, you left it out. Like you said, Friday or Thursday night, we didn't put nothing out, and we was rushed. And like you said, we got the camper set up, the tent set up. From there, me, you, and Baird, and the families, we went to 360 burger joint right up the road. So they got
Mhm.
fantastic hamburgers. They need to improve them French fries just a little bit, but the wives like the chicken sandwiches and such like that. And it saves a lot on us from having to cook. But that's kind of our little go-to thing now, ain't it, Old Bear?
Yeah, yeah, and the women seem to like the onion rings, which I like them better than I did fries.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Bear, did you see or hear anything the first night there?
Um, I'm trying to. I think it was Thursday night that we heard something about 3 o'clock in the morning towards the lake.
Towards the lake?
Yeah, it sounded like Bigfoot. Uh, it screamed coming from the lake. We had
Huh.
woke up and my wife was sitting there talking about some things, and the next thing I know, she had scooted up against me. We heard that scream, and she scooted all the way up against me and was like, "Is it coming up the hill?" So yeah, we did hear something on Thursday night.
Now, speaking of the hill, me and Richard took a hike. Was it Friday or was it Saturday? I think it was Friday, if I remember correctly. And we went down the hill. And as we got down there, Richard being the investigator, and because the reason I parked where I parked at or the camp is because they say they cross there. And if I remember right, oh Bear, that's where we seen those blue eyes, or what we suspect to be blue eyes.
Right.
We don't have recordings, so that's the best we could do there. But that little gap right there where I was thinking that they might would have been, Richard went down that way, got to the bottom of the hill, and Richard told me, he said, I think this is what would you say it was, Richard?
You talk about
A
the first time
corridor?
we separated, and I started going down that break that was kind of like heading back towards camp.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I looked at it, and if it was if it's true that they're crossing where we're camped and they're cutting across this it's, I don't know if it was just the bottom of a ridge or whatever. Definitely led back to the campground, back to where we were camped. So if they were going to take that, that would be a very viable pathway to take because it was unimpeded, fairly wide. Um, and stuff like that. So to get to where we were standing at that moment. So I walked down it a little ways, just seeing if there's any prints. But we are, at that time, beginning of fall, so there was a lot of leaves on the ground. So it was very difficult to find any impressions on the ground. The substrate just wasn't working well. But I did find, and I put it in the videos on my channel. So I was looking high, like 6 feet, 7 feet above me, because there are some branches that come across the trail, um, and I could see places where branches had been broken. Like something had passed through. Um, so I documented it, of course, and videoed it and stuff like that. I don't know, of course, what caused it or anything like that, but it was something that definitely caught my interest, and I filmed it just to have a document, that I saw that and found it. So
Well, I'll tell you what, the biggest surprise to me, as far as that goes, it was the cypress.
yeah, when I
Just
met up
didn't.
with you and you found that one area where it looked like something had pushed down the grass going through there, which could be anything, but it definitely,
That's
those
right.
are the things that pique your interest to say, hey, let's walk down there. And then I remember you looked at me and I was like, well, there's a game trail going to the left, one going straight and one going to the right. And I said, I like the one going to the right because it's going into a dark area, shady area. And you're like, well, you want to go in there? I said, absolutely. So we started walking in there, and we walked right in on a cypress area, like if I was back home in Florida. It was cypress knees and cypress trees and stuff like that. And it was you could tell it was an area that on a rainy season it would definitely hold water back there.
Yeah.
Um, so that was yeah, I liked that area. It was pretty good.
Yeah, it was really dry this year. Um, and the leaves were actually somewhat crunchy. It looks like to me we could hear footprints out, coming in and out and all that kind of stuff. Uh, but anyways, I guess for everything, Thursday night was pretty much what I call uneventful, and I'm kind of glad of it for the simple reason I was
Hmm.
tired. I was tired. I mean, I wasn't tired as Richard or maybe old Barry is, but or was, but I was give out. I'm like, I hope nothing does happen. I don't want my trailer to move this time. I don't. No, let me get some sleep. I don't want to be woke up. Breakfast is early in the morning. So I didn't hear anything. And guys, y'all know me. I am very honest about what I see here, and I'm even skeptical of my own things until I can prove, solid. You know what I'm saying, or at least something that is tangible. You know what I mean. So we got up. What was it? Friday morning, and we cooked some eggs. And Richard does not like my eggs, Bear. He doesn't like
I didn't say that. You asked me how they were, and I said, well, I usually like them a little bit more well done.
them. I can do them a little bit more well done, but they're cheese eggs. So when you put
Hmm.
cheese in them, they will turn a little moisture what you were expecting. But I like them. They're good for feeding the masses. That's good stuff. Bear done again a wonderful job with the sausage and bacon. That was great. Oh,
I tore up some
and
sausage. I tore up some sausage. Every opportunity that there was sausage sitting there, I was eating sausage, man. That was good stuff.
Uh, oh, Barbie Bear, as we like to call her, but we're going to call her Mrs. Old Bear, but we call her Barbie Bear. She's done a great job with the biscuits and everything. So breakfast was good. We liked that. We enjoyed it. But what happened to on Saturday, guys? Anything?
What was it we
Trying to
did
think.
Friday night?
Well, I'm sorry, Friday night. I apologize. What's today? I'm hoping today's Sunday.
I hope it is.
I get confused, man. I'm old. So what happened Friday? Friday night.
Well, I know Old Bear took us to a couple locations.
Mhm.
It
That's
was
nice.
really good for me because it gave me the opportunity to run my thermal and my night vision, which I haven't got to run for a while. Which I had to put them all together in one video that I put on my channel because um, my thermal does not record sound. So it wouldn't be good to do one video of thermal with nothing but music and then one video of night
Mhm.
vision, where I can talk and explain and stuff like that. Because um, I was using the Psionics because it was smaller and I could pack it in my carry on, and so I just put it all in one video. And but it was a beautiful area, nice areas, you know. I wish we had got something. I wish we had heard something and got something recorded, but that's squatching. You go out there and look and try to put yourself at the right place at the right time. You know.
Yeah. And go ahead, Bear. And hey, Miss Latoya.
Well, you know, Friday when we went out, we had Icebox do a house, and then I did a couple, and I was hoping that something would respond, but who knows where they were at? I mean, you can't pinpoint where a Bigfoot's going to be, you know, 1 minute to the next.
Mhm.
But we tried.
Yep. And if I remember right, we ended up getting called back to the campground. 'Cause we had tried, I believe it was in August, just staying in the campground. And they
Hmm.
say when we generally would leave to go do something like that, that they would have more activity in the campgrounds than we're doing out there.
Right.
Me and Richard talked to a park ranger, I guess she is, Like, what was her name? Was it Grace? Wasn't it Richard?
I don't remember. I don't remember her name.
Yeah, and she told me that that for some reason this year the Bigfoot activity has been kind of slow, been kind of slow. So, and I don't think it had changed from the time we got there. Even though there's a particular reason we wanted to go in October because we feel like
Mhm.
these creatures like to move around more. It's harvest season and it's getting cooler, so now they got the freedom to move around without getting too hot. And that's the reason we wanted to do an October one. And as far as us, Richard, tell us how it was sleeping in a tent that on these nights.
Well, the first night, I froze my butt off, and it wasn't by
Who?
no it was no fault by anybody but myself because I had everything there. But once I was in the blankets and I was because I was tired. I had gone 18 hours. I was really wore out.
Mhm.
Um, I at that point I got too lazy to get out of my cot and get the sleeping bag. But every night after that, I used a sleeping bag, and I felt a lot better, slept a lot better, everything was better. But it was cold, and it was a different cold than Florida. You know what I mean? It got the first night I think it was low 50s, and then after that, I think the next couple nights it was the upper 40s, and 48, 49 degrees, which it gets that cold here. I mean, we get down in the upper 20s here, but it's a totally different cold.
Yeah.
And so there's a couple times I woke up in the middle of the night shivering. You know what I mean? But that was the first night. But after that, I planned better and enjoyed it a lot more. Slept a lot better.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I'm proud to come because I got to spend the money to get a cot, and I thought way you talk, we got us a good one. So like that. All right.
No,
Hey, Flat Rock.
that is a good cut.
Yeah, yeah. Flat Rock. I will be calling you sometime tonight if that's okay. All right. Bear. What? Just tell me. What happened for you on Friday night? Anything?
Other than going out, much it.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna show a video here in just a minute of what was going on Friday. It's now some of this has got some of August in there because I didn't want to get rid of it just as of yet because I wanted to show.
Mhm.
Well, it's got some video of the ladies that were there listening. While I just got back. Uh, I hope you got into something, bud. I really do. I hope you did. And yeah, Flat Rock, let me know if it's all right to call you after a while. Anyways. So Friday night was for me. It was enjoyable. That was the night we cooked hamburgers and done some videoing and trying to get some things together. Um, and like you said, Friday night we went out. I got to do a call, which I didn't. I thought I didn't do too good of a job, but sometimes it's just like turkey hunting. You can shut a car door and the turkeys are gone. So sometimes you just throw anything out there and they'll respond. Now I don't know this time because Bear done it, and if I remember right, Bud let out a call. No,
Mhm.
you're not in trouble, Bud. Flat right, no, you're not in trouble. It's just been a while since I talked to you. I just want to just catch up with you just a little bit. But yeah, Bud got to make a call, and I thought Bud done a good job.
Yes, he did.
I'm surprised something didn't answer his, if nothing else. Man, you done this about the same call, except yours is actually a whole lot better than mine. But I thought Bud done a great job. Oh, wait. But anyways, that was the night that, uh, if I remember right, Buz's wife, Angie, I think Curtis, and Curtis probably could tell us better, but they heard whistles back up to camp.
Right. Yeah, that's the reason we picked it up and got back to camp.
Yeah, couldn't get there fast enough. Couldn't get there fast enough. And that to me, I don't care who gets a sighting, vocals, the encounter of any kind. I really don't. I want somebody to have some kind of meaningful encounter to them. Like Richard, I'd love to have one come by and pat him on the head through the tent. I would have loved that just to hear what his reaction would have been. And yeah, we seen you waving, Laura. We seen you waving. So pretty much, Richard, do you have anything Friday night?
Nothing Friday night, but again, I was running audio. I had set up my camera. I had it on a magnet mount on the tent, and
Mhm.
my digital auto recorder connected to the tent. And like I said, going through the audio now, I still haven't gone through it all. So far, some very, very interesting things that kind of surprised me. I have to wait a minute, what was that? And I'd rewind and listen to it again, rewind, listen to it again, and it was some very, very interesting some stuff. Just there was definitely something behind my tent at some point. Unless you got up in the middle of the night and took a leak or something like that and was standing
Mhm.
behind my tent. But there was definitely something there because and not to be funny or anything like that, but I'm listening to the audio and at one point I farted. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. But when I did that, it something outside the tent, it spooked it or whatever, and I could hear it walking around the backside of my tent. And then I heard this. It literally sounded just like a deer huff. And those of us that are deer hunters, know what that sound is. They do it as an alert. Um, especially when you spook them or they're trying to alert you to go away or whatever. It sounded like that, but what made it strange was it kept doing it. And deer don't do that. It was I mean, just repeated, just like that, one after the other, one after the other. And so I'm listening to that right now in audio, trying to determine what that is. But it was like one after the other, and deer don't do that unless it was a troop of deer, a whole herd of them all doing that one after the other, which is not likely. Um, and then at some point, just like if I tap the mic and you hear that pop, if somebody taps a microphone on stage or something like that, something touched my microphone because I heard, in the recording, there's that pop where something tapped the microphone. So I don't know. Like I said, it's all anecdotal unless I can prove what did it. Um, but it was very interesting, like I said, and again on the second night I caught the same vocal again of that yell or it was kind of like a whoa, but you could hear it from a distance. Like I said, it sounded like it was on the next ridge over because behind the tent it goes pretty much downhill pretty quickly. Um, and then there's a road, and then it goes uphill again. And it sounded like it was either on that upper hill or on the backside of that upper hill or on the top of that hill. That's what it sounded like to me. That it wasn't close, like on the same hill I was on, but it was definitely loud enough that. But my digital recorder picks up stuff really, really good.
Yeah, it does.
Um, I could pick up stuff pretty far away. Um, but and that's the hard part with audio. Even when if I had brought my parabolic, you can hear something, but you can't determine distance. That's the one thing it won't. What I mean? So, um, but it was definitely interesting. Like I said, I'm at that point now in the audio. I got like out of the 2 days on the like 6 more hours of listening and stuff like that. So I might do that tonight while I'm chilling. But like I said, it was definitely a loud. And like I said, the first night when I heard it, it was the exact same thing. It's that exact same tone. But the second one was, oh, it was it's still a growl, but it was lighter. It was, you know what I mean. So can't I'm not going to make assumptions and can absolutes, but it was definitely interesting.
Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, I want to hear it, and of course, I'm expecting if once you get it cleaned and clear, that I get to hear about it.
Yeah, and like
Sorry,
I
guys.
said, it's I've recorded that same thing a couple of times here in Florida. The exact same sound, exact same length. It's just like this whoa, this loud growl, yell. Um, Matter of fact, we were talking about it one time when I was out with a documentary crew, and they were standing beside me when we caught the same thing, and they looked at me like, "Holy crap, what was that?" The exact same sound, exact same one. So all I can say is whatever I heard in Florida and whatever I heard in Ohio, it's the same thing. Now, what it is, I'm not going to make that assumption, but it's the same thing because the two sounds were just too identical.
Sorry, I muted myself. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I really want to hear it. I really do. Flat Rock tell you, I love hearing audio, of course,
Hmm.
video and everything, but and I love hearing audio. Speaking of, guys, I'm gonna play just a quick clip. It's about 7 minutes long. It's no big deal. It's just a short montage of what we done up there. Now, I will give you a warning. The first clip, there are two dogman babies in it, so don't get alarmed, okay? Yeah, let me see if I can find it. I'm hoping this is going to work.
The game warden that used to give crap to my dad and my uncle, they may have done some unethical things when they were before I was born.
So that's that picture I showed you.
Right.
Same sign, same gate, same number six.
Right.
That red sign says no, gone.
Yeah.
not cheese. It's video. All right. So, Richard, sorry about the interruption. We fixed to go on a hike. What was you going to be looking for?
Well, like I said, I want to look for. It's kind of like deer hunting. You're looking for scrapes and rubs and different things that tell you're in a viable area for deer. It's kind of the same thing when we're looking for Sasquatches, looking for anything, structures, prints, anything that would tell us that this is a viable area. And then we'll just kind of walk through that area to see what we can collect, what we can document, and stuff like that. You know, I mean, of course, always the highest expectation, but you know, I wouldn't even say expectation. I go in with no expectation. That way, you're never dissatisfied. But we'd love to have a visual. We'd love to have and I'm always filming, so I'm still trying to get that elusive 10-second video. So hopefully we'll do that. And like I said, starting off first night with some vocalizations that, like I said, about a quarter mile away, so that's not too bad. You know, we might get lucky. We might get that 10 seconds while I'm in Ohio. Had to fly 1,000 miles to do it.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe get some thermal, something else. We don't know.
Tonight will be, we'll run thermal tonight. And, you know, like I said, I've got my audio and video set up on the tent. So if anything comes into the campsite and everything, because they said where we're camped is a crossing point. Well, we'll find out if it's a crossing point this weekend. And because definitely the vocals came from that direction, so we'll see what happens. They may not cross here because we're camped right here. You know what I mean?
They might.
But we'll see what happens.
Well, that was my whole idea, was to put us in the firing line and see what happens. See if they either get mad at us or get curious, whatever, and see what happens. So, All right. Well, we'll continue it later on after we get done with our hike and see what happens tonight.
Absolutely.
So y'all have a good one. I'm going to tell you something. I hope y'all enjoyed that. I had to do it kind of quick, like. I've been working on it for a couple hours, getting stuff downloaded. I talked to Bear earlier. My phone had messed up for some reason yesterday, so that's one reason we're coming on tonight and today. But I wanted to try to show what it's like to be at Salt Fork. It's very peaceful there. It's very nice. It's surrounded, that little top of that ridge where they keep clean and everything. Rest of it is just rough cut woods from one edge to the other. You can run into briars, poison ivy. It's just all kinds of, I mean, it's woods, you know. But I wanted to show how much I enjoy, because we always agree, me and Bear do. First part of it's camping. The second part of it, you're eating good food with good company. And then you get to go Bigfoot, you know. You're not just going to other places or not just sitting around all the time, but you're in what I call an anticipation of hoping that something's going to happen that would give you an encounter. And that's what it's all about to us. It's the first part is the camping and, like I said, hopefully the good company, good food. But anyways, I really couldn't tell Richard how much I enjoyed him being there. I really couldn't. I mean, there's just no words to explain. Having him come up from Florida, spending some time with us, and I hated to see him go. I really did. But that was one of my I ain't gonna say desire, because I don't desire Richard. Trust me, guys. But I did. That's why we got you a tent, baby.
But just remember now, Dirt Road, is he wasn't wearing a certain shirt.
Oh, we won't talk about that. We don't have to do it. He's talking about the purple shirt.
Uh-huh.
Purple shirt.
Yeah.
What purple shirt?
I
have a
you
blue
don't need to know.
The purple shirt with the male Bigfoot with a bow in its hair. You know,
yeah. Old ice boxes. He Dave them.
Yeah, not my fault. Not my fault, guys. It was Oldbear and them's fault on that one. Okay.
Oh no! Don't blame me. It was the Mrs. Oldbear that got that shirt for you.
I told her, I said, I appreciate the shirt, But next time, pick something a little bit more manly. Hey, I'm gonna wear it. You buy me a shirt, yeah, I'm gonna wear it as long as it ain't political or anything. Yeah, I'll wear it. I'm not above getting embarrassed. But anyways, I did have a good time. I really, really did.
Mhm.
Now we come in. Is the chat room rolling? Because it tells me that the chat room has quit working. Is that right?
I don't know. Everything's lagging, but I don't think it's. I think it's restream.
Yeah, put the link back up there real quick just to find out. Uh, guys,
I just it's just on the screen. It's way behind the. That's why I pulled up my iPad. Um, so like right now, my what I just wrote just popped up, but I wrote that a couple of minutes ago. So
yeah, let me check it out on the phone, guys. Let's see what happened. Let's go to Saturday, guys. Oh, what do you think about them little dog man babies?
Hmm.
You know what they are. Yeah, guys, if you didn't know, that is my that's my wife's little dogs, little puppies. And let's see if it's got the chat room going. Oh, what do you think about them little dog man babies?
oh God, I hate that ringtone.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, they were texting. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, it's because I've checked everything on my end and it's lagging, but I don't think it. I think it's restream. You know,
Yeah,
we were having.
it was wanting me to do something and I wasn't able to. So, anyways, yeah, just like Flat Rock says, uh, hang on a second. Okay, Florida Seminole guy, war guy, wanted to know, Richard, were you saying that you were talking to people about a particular call and then immediately heard that call? Does that make sense to you?
No, no. I was talking about hearing the call, and then the first day was hearing the first call, and then hey Steve, good to see you, buddy. And then like I said, a little while later, I heard the second call, and then what I'm saying was that I've heard it before. It's the same sound that I've recorded here in Florida on a couple of different occasions. It sounds exactly. Matter of fact, there's on one of my videos a couple of years ago. You'd have to scroll back pretty far. Um, you can hear that exact same sound. I mean, it was literally identical. Um, so definitely, like I said, whatever made the sound in Florida, whatever made the sound up there, is whatever it is. It's the same species because it sounded exactly the same. So, um, but like I said, I'm
So,
still going through everything to figure out what more do I have. Like you said, there's some interesting things. I had things, uh, that I narrowed down to some walking up to the backside of my tent. Um, I could hear the movement. I couldn't tell you if it was bipedal or what, but it was moving. It was going back and forth. And like I said, I would say my microphone was face level, and I'm 5'10", so I had it face level up on the tent. So it was that high up, and something tapped the mic. Just one time, like a pop. Boop, and so that was interesting. It caught my attention because most of this stuff I was listening to on the plane flying back, so I couldn't jot down the timestamp to go back. So I'm going to have to go back and and redo everything in my logbook, writing down the timestamps and stuff like that because I'm not really good at Audacity. I wish I knew somebody who was really good at it and can coach me through it. Hey Sharon, and so I might have to send the entire digital recorder to um, Johnny and have him go through it and see if he can isolate certain things and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure he'll be calling me quite a bit, going, "Okay, let me play this for you. What was happening here? What was going on here?" And I can explain it to him. Um, but very interesting, very interesting. And then on Saturday, I was able to get up and go on a private hike by myself and do some
Mhm.
videoing and stuff like that because I love those hikes by myself. I really love
Yeah.
to get out there, and I had a game plan because we're at the beginning of the camping area right at the entrance where
Mhm.
we were at. And it goes back, I don't know, to the backside was I don't know, 300-400 yards. So I went out from behind my tent where I was hearing all those noises and stuff and started hiking that ridge all the way back. And my goal was to go as far back as I could go before obstacles or whatever stopped me. And then I was going to cut to my left, and there was supposed to be a trail that I was going to hook up on, and then just bring the trail back to the campground. So I got way back there. It's in the video, and I'm like, okay, I can see that there's another uphill battle in front of me. So I was like, I'm not going uphill anymore. So I decided to make that cut and go left. And I was breaking brush. It was pretty thick, and I think at that time I shut the camera off because it was just I had to use both hands to break through the brush and everything. And I wasn't finding the trail. I wasn't lost because I knew what direction the campground was at. So I decided, well, just break more brush and start heading towards the campground. And when I came out at the campground, I was literally, I don't know, 30, 40 feet from that trail. So if I had kept going
Yeah.
in the woods, I would have finally hit that trail probably. But
Mhm.
anyhow, made it back and everything, and found some interesting um, structures back there that raised questions. You know what I mean, and stuff like that. And so I documented them and stuff like that, and as thoroughly as I can on video on what I was seeing at on those structures and everything. Um, you know, it's one of those things where I don't know, and like I said, I don't ever speak in absolutes because unless I see what did it, I don't know. I can in my own mindset I can create my own scenario, but I don't share what my idea is with my subscribers. I want them to look at the evidence, them to look at what's going on, and them
Mhm.
them come up with their own idea of what it is. See what I'm saying? So, but I did show that stuff to Old Bear. We sat there that night, and I was showing him the one of the structures that I found and stuff like
Mhm.
that. And then I found a pretty neat looking arch um, that was a pretty impressive arch. It was definitely the tree didn't grow that way, and it had two scenarios. I mean, the tree could have fallen and pulled that tree down with it, or um, something could have pushed because there was a gap underneath the log, a gap that I could put my arm under, and that branch was through that gap. So
Mhm.
you could easily just shove it under there if you wanted to as well. So,
Mhm.
but I documented that, and so people could see that and what we found and stuff. So pretty interesting area.
Yeah, you didn't have to walk far to find all kinds of. When I say all kinds of stuff, interesting stuff. Let's put it that way. Um, there is a particular spot I would like to go to, but that's going to be probably for next year. And if you're talking about the same one that I'm thinking of, where we was out there and uh, it come down and like you said, pulled through, seemed like, or it caught it on the way down, and I was
What's
questioning
that?
you about your investigation techniques.
Say that again. I didn't catch the question.
Was that the same tree that me and you were looking at, and I questioned you on your investigation techniques?
Maybe was that the one where you were sitting on the log?
Yep, yep.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was looking at it at different angles and trying to look at it. I'd kind of walk around it and look through it. And those of you, I did walk through it, so it's not a portal. But I was so I was walking around it and filming and checking out different angles and stuff like that. It was definitely odd because that was a large tree, very very large tree, and I don't see that the tree that's arched was only a I don't know, it wasn't very big around. It was not a very large tree
no.
itself. Very tall but not very wide at all. So for that large tree to fall, it's going to fall in a direct path. See what I'm saying? It's not
Mm-hmm.
going to fall to the left and this little tree make it fall to the right. See what I'm saying? It would have just obliterated that tree.
Yeah.
Um, so in my mind, I mean, the possibility of something taking it and pushing it underneath that down tree is a possibility. Now, did that happen? I don't know. It could have happened a weird way where it fell and that little tiny tree was able to change its direction and stuff like that. I don't know. But it was strange enough that I wanted to at least document it. You know what I mean? And that's what I tell people all the time. At least document it. At least take photographs or a video or something, because you never know down the road it may answer questions, or it's something that you can always come back to going, wait a minute, I've seen this before, and then you can pull that video up and revisit what you saw.
Well, if nothing else, if you find something that ain't, you can learn then what I call you learn from your mistakes. That's why if you document it, and that's the reason when I questioned you, it wasn't trying to snare you up. It was to try to show the your future audience or what future videos, whatever, somewhat of what you do while you're out there. You're just not walking in the woods. Is what I'm trying to get at. You're looking for something
No, I'm looking.
and trying to
Yeah, I'm
debunk.
right. I'm actually looking for things. You know what I mean? And I miss a lot
Mm-hmm.
too, because that's why I try to explain to people. And you were with me. I'm not looking at my camera. My head is looking around. It's on a swivel and stuff like that. And so sometimes when I see something, I have to turn the camera to it. You know what I mean? Because I try to keep the camera facing forward or the opposite direction of what I'm looking at in case something moves or something like that. Because if I'm looking in one direction, I'm going to see it, but if it moves in the other direction, the camera's going to catch it. So, but we found some great stuff and some interesting things. Like I took you back there behind our campsite where I found a small double arch. It was two arches, two
Yeah,
little,
yeah,
very small ones, and it just looked cool because it was two arches and then with two sticks going straight up and down behind it. So
yep.
when you're looking at it, it just had this really neat look to it. But I was easily able to debunk it and say, okay, this was natural. I can see what fell and what did this and this and stuff. But it just looked really cool. Um, the other one was the one I showed Old Bear was the down tree that had fallen into the fork of another
Mm-hmm.
tree, um, which was really weird because I could tell what the one that had fallen that was in the crevice of the standing tree. I could tell what was the top and what was the base of the tree. Now it wasn't the root ball base; it was
Right.
just towards the base of the tree where it was a lot wider. And it had fallen, so the base was up in the air, and the top of the
Mm-hmm.
tree was on the ground. And it made this like TP looking type structure because there was
Mm-hmm.
another that fell from the opposite direction that was in that same crevice. Um, I never did find where the larger tree where its base was. You know what I mean? So um, that was kind of strange, unless it was. And I looked up in the trees. Maybe it was from a tall tree that like the top portion fell, and I didn't find that either. So I'm really not sure. Um, but the it's been there for a while because the tree that it had fallen into was actually growing around it. I mean, like engulfing,
Hmm.
like a knot was growing around the part that was
Mm-hmm.
bridged into that gap. So it had been there for a while to happen because that takes years for that to grow around it. Um, but it was very interesting. It was very, it was worth documenting. It was worth documenting.
Okay. All right, we're coming up on an hour. Bear, won't you take over the show for about 5 minutes, and I'll be right back. Talk about anything you want to. Your Saturday, uh, whatever you want to talk about. Now we'll be back in 5 minutes. You got it?
I guess.
Can you handle it, babe? I know you ain't never done it before. All right, guys, give me
Oh,
about
a,
5 minutes,
a
and I'll be
shout
right
out!
back.
I want to give a shout out to Lenny. I got his mug in. We're all He sent us
Hmm.
these mugs. I don't know if y'all can see it on the screen, but because I got the background on. But it's a Yeti mug, and it's been engraved. It says Richard, Bigfoot, Florida guy. I will find you. I don't know if that's a threat or no. I know what he was talking about, but really nice cooler. So nice mug. Broke it in the same day I got it.
Yeah, Lenny sent me a copper bell with Bigfoot on it, and I've got it hung up on my door there going into the kitchen. It's
Yeah.
uh, it's really nice. I like it a lot.
There was another. I had it here on my desk somewhere. Where did I? Oh, there it is. I don't know if y'all can see this, but when I was at the Bigfoot conference, Lenny gave me a flask with a Bigfoot on it. I don't know if y'all can see the Bigfoot, but it's a small flask and stuff like that, and I keep that on my desk.
So, was there anything else interesting on Saturday? After you get done with your walks, and did you capture any sounds Saturday night besides
Well,
us all down there talking?
I'm still going through the audio. Like I said, I've got probably at least 6 more hours of audio to go through. So I might go through that tonight a little bit for a few hours. But each night I was catching something, either a vocal or a movement or something. So I'm hoping the next 6 hours that's left, I catch something. Um,
Hmm.
it's like I said, I'm not a big audio guy. I love audio. Don't get me wrong. My very first encounter was an audio encounter, and it just, you know, it was an eye-opening event. But as far as analyzing audio and clearing it up or isolating different things, I'm not good at that portion of it. So I've got to get with somebody who knows Audacity, because I do have Audacity on the computer. I just can't work it. I can get the audio on there and I can listen to everything. I just can't isolate and then take that isolation, separate it to a different file so I can then use it or send it or play it or something like that. I haven't
Hmm.
got to that point yet. So
Well, you're talking over my head. I'm not. I'm no good with audio or any of it. I just do it.
well, I enjoy video, and it took me a long time to figure that out, and it was mostly by necessity. Um, but I've gotten really good at video, especially making my films and stuff like that, and adding text or music, and I've done some different things in my video where I'll use some slow motion or I use some fast motion. There was one time I was setting up camp, and so when you watch the video, I set up the camp in like 1 minute because I got it in fast motion. You just see me running around, putting up the tent, putting this, and then once it's done, I act like I'm tired. So
Yeah, putting up stuff like that. You were tired. You just wasn't as bad as what the video made it seem.
yeah, because it literally takes me about 10 minutes to set up my tent and get it organized on the
Mhm.
inside. It does not take me long at all. I have a system and I've got everything, right where I need it. So it doesn't take me long anyways, but nobody wants to sit there and watch a video for 10 minutes watching me put the tent up and stuff like that. So I'll do it fast paced, a little fast motion cinema there, and so they can see it real quick, and I do it in a minute, so
But yeah, I wanted to tell you how much I appreciated the multiple conversations we had about Bigfoot while we were there. I had a wonderful time talking to you and getting to know you. And I'm like I thought. There's not enough words to say. Thank you for coming up. It was a wonderful time.
no, I had a blast, and you guys were fantastic hosts. And I've said that a few times, even on my show when we did a show last Thursday. You guys are great hosts.
Mhm.
Um, it was a good time. Conversations were fantastic. Um, it was a good time, and like I said, you're not going to leave hungry, and you guys were there if I needed anything or if I was uncomfortable or anything like that. Y'all were going to do was
Mhm.
to make me comfortable. It was a good time. I enjoyed it, and I would do it again. And like I said, a beautiful area. I mean, just everything. And like I said, and I've said this many times. I said it to Tommy. Is it's a win-win situation for me. Um, I get to talk Bigfoot, and I get to spend time in the woods. I love camping. I love being out in the woods. It's my place, and so it's a win-win. If I catch any Bigfoot stuff, it's okay because I walk away energized, refreshed, and I got to spend time in my element, you know. And going to another location, another state is just a fantastic opportunity to check out another area and see what they're experiencing and check out the terrain. And so it was a good time. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I was trying to tell people a lot every time I watch your videos, how I enjoy the difference in terrain of the palm prawns or whatever you want to call it, and just the territory is just different. It's thick, down there.
Yeah.
But we got different territories up here. I mean, my place up here is pretty much flat with one. They call it a canyon. It ain't no canyon. It's just a very deep ravine. But Indiana, they try to brag and exaggerate a little bit. You can find a dadgum ditch line. They'll call it a creek up here. They're idiots. I'm sorry. They just are. But I mean, it is different terrain, and I like showing it off too, where we go, and that's always fun to do. But anyways, you get off that, and I want to say
And,
hi to
and
dog. Go ahead.
and the wives were really good. They were sweethearts. You know what I mean? And it was a lot of fun because we could joke around and just enjoy ourselves and stuff like that. So all in all, I mean, it was a good ordeal. I mean, some things didn't go as planned, but you know what?
A
In
lot of
the end,
things.
it was a fantastic time.
Yeah, we didn't get to do the Bigfoot calling contest. We didn't get to do the speaker
Mhm.
stuff. And I basically just said, well, if you ask me, because Curtis was out there making a call a time or two, and he sounded pretty dadgum good. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah,
He done a
he did
great
a really
job.
good job.
Yes, he did. And I said, okay, he wins. Because
Well,
mine was pitiful that night. Go ahead.
yeah, because I was talking to Crystal and she had made the comment that he had made a call, and I was like, because I've got audio, and I was like, okay, was it? And I did what I had heard, and she said, no, it wasn't that at all. He did a long, drawn out, loud call. So in my audio, if I come across that, I can say, okay, that was Curtis, because
Yeah.
she said it sounded nothing like what I had heard, so I can eliminate that.
Yeah, he did a good job. They really did. I'm gonna have to compliment him and Bud. I told him I'm gonna call him Sugar Bear. All right, yeah, that's just Bud. Flat Rock. I'll tell you about that later on. I'm calling
Dude,
him Sugar Bear.
everybody there was fantastic. It was great to meet Bud and Angie. I like them a lot. They're really good
Yes.
people,
Mhm.
down to earth, very logical in their thinking, and I like that because that's my basis is forensic and being logical about everything. And so having conversations with them was fantastic. She's a sweetheart. Bud's a great
Oh,
guy,
absolutely.
and and
Yeah.
enjoyed that. Curtis was a good guy, and everybody. What's his name? Thomas was a nice guy. Um, what was the older guy? Kenny, was that his name? Kenny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we need to talk about Kenny. We need to talk about Kenny. We sure do.
Yeah,
Yep.
Kenny was a
You're
good
right.
guy.
Uh, I'm gonna go ahead and lead you into it. From now, this is from what I heard. I talked to Kenny personally, and yeah, you're right. It's not a camp out if Kenny's not there. I'm gonna just be honest with you.
Right.
He's a good fella. He's an old country boy, but he's smart as a whip. And he's basically come up here to these campouts just to have fun. He's got curiosity. I've seen him up there what about four times, and
Hmm.
he come up to me. He said, I'm so mad. I'm so pissed off, this and that kind of stuff. I said, what you so mad about? He said, well, I got this new night vision, and I was over at, I guess it was Bigfoot Ridge, uh, over there with Thomas and them. And he said, I seen a juvenile Bigfoot. I said, did you now? He said, yeah. He said, and I had that night vision, and I throwed it upon him, and you could see it peeking around the tree. And I said, really? And you recorded it? Because it was with his night vision. He goes, yeah, I sure did. But my little dumb rear end, he says, and I'm not quoting him, but he said, my dumb little rear end forgot to get an SD card. So
Yeah.
it didn't record to the night vision to where he had a recording of it. Yeah, and I understand now why he was mad. And it goes that way. It goes that way.
Well, it was new equipment, didn't know.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Even when I bought my, well, the one that me and you had the same, I came with the SD card, but I have other equipment that you have to buy that separately. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And if you
yeah.
don't realize you need an SD card, that happens. Happened the first time I flew my drone. I recorded flying the drone over my research area, and then I get home and there's nothing there, and then I realized I didn't have an SD card in it. So
Yeah, well, I figured that out a long time ago. You got to have an SD card. Your phone's got one. My night vision, which is my phone, so it records there. Not my night vision, but my thermal. And my night vision has one. I've got another camera that requires that you have one. They all do. And I can't blame him because he might not ever, ever get another opportunity like that again. There he had the perfect, you know and he would have recorded it, and it would have been. So I know Kenny, he would have let us have the footage and everything just to show on the show. But that tells me that there are some more of the things going on. And Kenny is one of those that's not given to exaggeration. And if
Right.
he tells you he saw something, he saw something. And in
Yeah.
his mind, it was a juvenile Bigfoot. So uh, that to me was encouraging, that they are moving around still up there. And just because nothing happened to me and my wife this go around, the one in August was the one that we got our camper pushed on,
Hmm.
and to us that was our time. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And it was something that, uh, I would say that it was strange for us, and those blue eyes or lights or whatever it was. And I even had Richard check it out with his flashlight, see if he could see anything that was reflective blue down in that little cubby hole or what that little hillside. And as far as I know, Richard, you didn't see anything. If you did, you didn't tell me.
no, I
Uh,
didn't see anything.
yeah, so I
Yeah.
can't tell you what them little blue lights were, or the blue flashes, whatever you want to call it.
I'll be right
No, because
back, guys.
yeah,
Okay.
because if I see or hear anything, I let people know and say, hey, look, this is what I've seen, this is what I'm hearing, or something like that. I'm an open book, and
Hmm.
because it gives everybody an opportunity to pay attention, listen up. You know what I mean? There's something going on, and even if I don't catch it, I don't mind if I don't catch it as long as somebody catches it.
Yeah.
And that was one of the points I made, that if you're out there and that is your goal, is to quote Bigfoot research and hopefully catch a glimpse of this thing, you've got to be doing something that's documenting. You have to be running video, audio,
Mhm.
something. Because if you're not, then you're killing yourself. And I think that's what bothered Kenny the most, was he did all the right things
Yeah, he
and
did.
just forgot the SD card. So he had the right frame of mind that, okay, I'm seeing something, I'm going to document this. You know what I mean? And he knew there were other researchers there and podcasters and stuff like that that would be more than happy to look at the footage and give our opinion or what we thought or something like that. But he missed that opportunity, and I think that's what bothers him most, was he was so prepared and still failed.
Yeah.
But that happens to every single one of us at some point. You know what I mean? Every single one of us.
Could have had that 10-second video. Ten
Yep.
second video. But I tell you what, there was a good story that was going around, and it involved Miss Angie, and I can't tell it just perfect. I plan on having them on and getting them back on here to talk about, it, especially seeing how they went to second time. They've been up there 2 weekends in a row. I'd like to see what happened to them. this past time, but the time they were talking about was down in Flat Rocks. And this is just to show you, how aggravating it is. It's not to be picking at nobody because they done everything right. And but basically, it was the ladies were down in Flat Rocks, and Flat Rock can back it up, I'm sure. But I know can. But anyways, they went down there with a thermal. I think the night vision too. I'm not sure about the night vision. But anyways, I know they went with a thermal, and they seen a Bigfoot and had their night vision or their thermal going, or was it the night vision? I think it was the night vision, and they had it going, and they showed their daughter there that likes to give them a hard time about there's no such thing as Bigfoot. Now she's sitting there looking at one through the night vision, and they done a recording, and it started walking away, and they hollered at it, and it turned around, looked at them, and turned around, went walking back off. And here comes Angie and them. I think Miss Pat was with them. And for those who don't know, Miss Pat is Blue Eyed Northern, and their daughter was Angie's daughter was with them. And they come back, and she comes screaming up there to the guys saying, "We're rich now, fellas," because she knew that she got this thing. Okay, both of them. She knew that she had got this thing on film. Okay, and went to play it. hmm, You could see it acts like that its focal point. And Bear, you and you guys can straighten me out on this. But it looked like to me that the focal point was beyond what was close to him. Okay, and
Mhm.
she even said that during the filming, everything was clear, crisp. But in the playback, the foreground of the vegetation was really blurry, and it blocked out a whole lot of stuff. You could only see like barely any twigs and stuff that was the focal length to me in the background. Now, I will say this, I did see some kind of eye shine in there, and there's
Mhm.
no doubt in my mind. It looked like one eye, then you got to see two. But being, like Richard in a way, uh, I could tell, only thing I could tell her as far as the eye shine goes, it could be a possum because you're in Alabama. It could be a possum, it could be a raccoon. Until you know that distance between where those eyes are and where you were, and then take a measurement of how far them eyes are apart. You know the routine, Richard. You've done it before. I think that time you and Jimmy Barr went, you was trying to figure out how tall that eye shine was. And
Right.
until they do that, it's going to be inconclusive. Just to be honest with you. But boy, she was mad when you couldn't see the Bigfoot like they could see it. And I just looked at her. I said, "Well, welcome back to being poor." That's all I could tell her. But I mean, they done everything right. It's just
Mhm.
uh, as I said something about it. I said it's what we call a blob squatch, and she's got a picture, and she showed it to me, and it does. It looks like an outline of a head, shoulders. You would think that it was a Bigfoot. And matter of fact, I've got a thermal shot of it, and I showed her the same dadgum thing, and it looks just like it in the video. It looks like a Bigfoot. It's about like from his waist up over the ridge there, that's staring back at us right there where we were camped out, Richard. And she took a picture, and I don't know when she took that picture, but it wasn't the same time that. I don't think it was the same time I was doing a thermal. Okay, but it looks the same to me. That tells me whatever it is, it's an object. It's not a Bigfoot, even though it does look like something is standing there. It's not it because it would have moved between the time that I was doing my filming and the time that she took the picture. Had to be, had to be. I mean, I've got it set up on video if y'all want to see that. I love showing thermal. I really do. I love my thermal, to be honest with you. I've seen better than mine, but this one's not too bad for what I do use it for. If you guys would like to see it, I will show you. And this is actually the time that we got back from hunting Friday night. I believe it was because we come back because we was getting phone calls. Hey, they're out here whistling and stuff
Mhm.
like that. It's the thermal that I showed. I like to show the thermal to show people what it looks like, what to pick up on, the difference in temperatures, that kind of stuff, so you can kind of get an idea of, uh, yeah, and this is something that I want to reiterate, Mr. Dog. I say one thing: people need to be careful in some research sites because there are other things out there in them woods. You ain't lying. We talked to
I
a park
I found
ranger.
that out. I found that out because I was attacked by a dozen chipmunks.
Well, I will be honest with you. I had heard rumors, and it doesn't bother me that I don't even hardly think about it. But they are bears in Salt Fork State Park. They said we
Hmm.
talked to the lady. I asked her specifically if that was true, and she said, "Yeah, they are. They're just not very many of them. I don't think." The way she talked
Hmm.
is basically they kind of one or two have scraggled down into Salt Fork. Nothing to uh, be startled about. All right, I'm going to see this right here. Clear. All right, start, and then it just blurred out. She didn't zoom in. Didn't have the foliage close to it. I don't know. Yeah, me either. I can't figure that out. Bear could probably tell you better about that than I can. But like I said, to me, it's just like when she showed it, it changed colors from being black and gray to it had some pinkish or purplish hue to it. And of course, it was blurred out. I don't understand why this camera done so. Mine so far never has done that. I've seen camera work where we were filming, me and Richard actually, and I seen Richard's camera look like all of a sudden everything underneath was brown leaves. And cameras do funny things. Cameras do funny things.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm just fortunate mine has not messed up that bad yet. I'm gonna give you every guys a little hint in your camera photos. Use 1080p. Don't use 401 or 4K.
Or
I'm sorry.
yeah.
If you use 4K, it's too crisp, too clear, and it just does not look right. So if you're gonna do some footage stuff, use 1080p. It'll help you out a
Hmm.
lot. All right, Bear, go ahead. I know you got something to say about that.
No, no,
No?
you're right. I'm not the video guy. That's your job, and that's Richard. I just do the visuals for you and the listen.
Well, I've said this in the past. In a perfect world, that if I'm ever not independent and I'm actually working with a team, I would love to have it where each person has a role. There's somebody
Hmm.
everybody's filming, but not paying attention to filming. They're just wearing a camera in case. But you have
Mhm.
somebody specifically filming, a person specifically documenting in a notebook and doing the measuring and stuff like that. You have somebody does audio. That's all he does. He's running audio. He might be running parabolic and digital recorders. So everybody has a job. Even if a fourth guy would be the pack mule, he's carrying the extra stuff we may need, like a gallon of water and casting material, maybe some food in case we get hungry, some snacks or something. But everybody would have a role, and that would make the job so much easier. Instead of just,
Mhm.
like I said, when I go out, I have to kind of think about what I'm going to do and what I'm going to need because I have to travel so light. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because the amount of hiking I do and breaking brush and stuff like that. So if you have a team and everybody's got a specific job, it would make it so much easier.
Mhm. It does. Well, matter of fact, we might as well just go ahead and say something about it now, old bear. We are planning to do at least one more and hopefully two more uh, trips to Salt Fork next year. The first one is
Hmm.
going to be sometime in May, and
Yeah.
we're going to try to do something a little special this time. Uh, Not going to say what it is and how we're going to do what we're going to do, but we're going to set a trap. Let's put it that way, and we're going to see what we can come up with out of this. It's not really a trap, guys. Don't think we're going to go out there and tie a rope on the ground and hope Bigfoot steps off in it and hang him upside down by his foot. It ain't that kind of little deal. It's just something that we're going to try to do that we ain't done before, and we think it's worth a shot to try to see what comes up, see if we can't get it on film. So if you're interested in that, you might want to get with us, especially if you're going to try to come in March. Is it right? March, April, May? No, May. It,
No.
yeah, it is going to be in May. We don't know for sure about the dates until we get to make some phone calls. So, anyways, we won't know till after January for sure. But if you plan on wanting to come, we're kind of giving you a heads up. I'm gonna be honest with you. We're gonna need about 3 to 4 night visions and at least 3 thermals if we can get them. That's all I'm going to say
Hmm.
about that. So if you want to come and you got something like that, let us know so we can work this out. Okay. Uh, hey, Varix, how you doing, bud? All right. So, guys, have y'all got anything else tonight about the camp out itself?
Do you want to talk about the bear in the room?
The what?
Uh,
The bear
we
in the room from Saturday.
we can, but just my opinion is I wouldn't say a name because that person does not deserve an audience.
Yeah, I've been
Right.
avoiding. I've been avoiding that all night. Uh,
Yeah.
no, I have. Let's put it this way, guys. I'm gonna say it this way. I have asked Bear for me to be the host in the May one,
Hmm.
for the simple reason if there's a specific reason that I want to do that. Uh, that way, if anything else, and let's put it this way: if there is any drama whatsoever, I want it to come through me. I wanted to take the heat off old Bear, and it's nothing really. It ain't that Bear can't handle it. It ain't nothing like that. It's just I'm not gonna put up with drama. Period. You know. Now having a spirited discussion is one thing. Having differences of opinion is one thing.
Hmm.
But when you let it go too far out of hand, we're not there for that. You got to keep one thing in mind. It's camping first. It's enjoying good people first. It's enjoying good food first. The Bigfoot is secondary, and everything else is secondary. Okay, it's just going out and having a good time. We don't want or need drama, period, at all. We want everybody to have more like a family atmosphere, and we've been trying to work on that this past year, and I think it's worked out pretty good. And we did have a little incident, and uh, somebody had to leave. It was uncalled for.
Yeah.
It was uncalled for. No reason for it whatsoever. I don't know why it happened, but we're not going to talk much about it because it was no big deal. I mean, it upset a little bit of some folks, but that the situation was handled rather quickly. Let's put it that way. And anyways, so enough about that. So anything else, Bear?
Richard, when you come back?
It's not out of the realm of possibility. It's just that right now my life is pretty hectic, so I'm trying to figure that out. And then
Okay.
once I get some normality back in my life and things, I can start scheduling and looking at things and deciding, then like I said, it's my life is based on weeks. I mean, this week is going to be different than next week,
Hmm.
and it's always been that way. Um, so right now I'm stagnant and trying to figure everything out. But once I do, um, and I can get back rolling the way I want to roll, of course, Icebox will be one of the first people to know and stuff like that. And then we can look at things. You know what I mean? Because um, it's always based on two things, or really three things: my health. Do I have the time off, and do I have the funds? Um,
Mhm.
Sometimes if you're missing one of those things, things don't work out. But when all everything falls into line, then everything's good. We did find out that a flight up there, a round trip flight up there, is not that overly expensive at
Hmm.
all. We
No.
actually got a really good deal on a round trip ticket, no stops, just there and back. Um,
Yeah.
so it's definitely something I would definitely look at in the future.
Well, we'd love to have you. That's for sure. We'd love
Yeah.
to have you back. Yeah, like I said, I really enjoyed you being there. I know. I'm gonna be honest with you. I love Curtis being there. Curtis is great to camp with. He's a good guy and he's entertaining, but he's like us. He enjoys sitting around the campfire, just having a good time. And there's some Bigfoot. That's just all I can say. We've had some good people up there this time. We really did. So, anyways, we're gonna get off here, guys. Unless you got anything else you want to talk about on the Salt Fork trip at all, and if not, we'll get out of here.
Right on. I'll let you know if I find anything else on the audio.
Okay, Oldbear.
Oh, no, I'm good. The only thing about Curtis, we're not leaving him in control of the fire anymore. I lost all hair on my leg.
Dude, I gotta admit though, he came prepared, man. He came with a trailer full of firewood, man.
Yes, he did.
You know, he came prepared.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, he's a good guy. I like him. He's a good guy.
Yeah, as long as he don't bring that chicken, we're good to go. We're good to
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're going to get out of here. Thank y'all for coming and being with us tonight. We just want to talk about it a little bit of what we do, and I wanted to show you a little clip of how we do things and just enjoying the night, the day, and the food and the company. Like I said, fortunately, that Kenny did have a sighting, and Richard, we hope's got audio. You know, that's a strange thing. You know, just like we got our camper pushed in in August, and there another couple had their van pushed in. When I say pushed in, it's just moved a little bit. Okay, guys, don't think it knocked a big dent in it or nothing. And it was an odd experience. Let's put it that way. And you know, this time nothing happened to us. I mean, I didn't even hear a yell. Richard heard a yell. You know,
A
so
couple times.
yeah.
Well,
So you see what I'm saying? Go ahead.
at least this time we didn't have to get that smell that came along with your camper getting pushed last year in August.
Yeah, yeah. And I got a theory on that. I say a theory. I've got something I'm working on about that smell. It is what I call a fact finding mission, and so far so good. It lines up, and one
I
day I'm
appreciate
gonna
you,
go home.
Verax. Verax,
Yeah. Oh
Verax
yeah.
is just saying nice thing. I just want to tell him I appreciate him. Thanks, Verax.
No, we thank Richard Varix. Is that how? I hope I say that right. Yeah, we do too. Yeah, y'all just don't know how much.
Mm-hmm.
You don't thank me, thank Richard for doing these things, and because we appreciate him too. Okay, but yeah, on the smells and other things, I'm going to do eventually what I call more or less Bigfoot facts. Okay, what is what I call an absolute. You know what I'm saying? They do this, they do that, and that kind of stuff. But without what I call giving away trade secrets, if I can do so, if that makes sense to
Mm-hmm.
everybody. You know what I mean? So, anyways, guys, we're going to get out of here. Thank y'all for coming, Richard. Always a pleasure as always, and I hope you had a good time, which I feel like you did, and that was the whole goal to start with. Bear, let's do it again, man. Let's do it again.
We
All
are.
right.
We are.
All right. All right. I'm going to make sure of. So, anyways, we are going to try to get someone special to come up in May. I think the fella already knows who I'm talking about, and I
Mm-hmm.
hope he will be able to. Who knows? I'll even get Richard back up. We'll just have to wait and see how his life lines up, and be great if he can. But, guys, we're going to get out. Thank y'all for coming in and being with us, and catch us probably here in about another 2 weeks, if not sooner. Y'all take care and be careful out there in them woods. There's strange things out there, I will tell you. Y'all have a good night.